Hi, this is Bruce. Welcome to my video. I trust you will enjoy it as we look at what is a pastor. Some people may be wondering about me and asking, am I a pastor? Others that have known me for many years may be asking, am I still a pastor? I guess what those people actually mean is, do I still hold a current credential with a recognised church movement? In my case, it was the Australian Christian Church, also known as the Assemblies of God. Now, Jesus himself often answered questions with a question, and here I'm going to do the same. The question is, am I still a pastor? My answer is, what makes someone a pastor? Judge for yourself. Does 4 to 5 years of Bible college, followed by a position in a government recognised institution that we call church, make someone a pastor? Just because you hold a plastic card with your photo on and a title of pastor, does that make you a pastor? Most pastors that I know would admit that a pastor is not a title, but rather a ministry function. Yet at the same time, they serve in a movement that holds the title of a pastor as a status of success and a higher ranking than those that don't carry such a title. Even though most times carrying the title and the position of a pastor limits you in actually performing the ministry function of a pastor. The ministry function of a pastor is one of a shepherd, of a servant, someone who has a genuine love, care and passion about others, about their physical lives and about their spiritual lives. Yet, often today, when you hold the title and position of a pastor, it is expected that others will serve and care for you because you're too busy. You've got all this stuff on that others will care and serve you. See, so much of your time as a pastor is spent concerning the budget, the board, legal requirements, the building upkeep and maintenance, travelling to conferences, etc., etc. The list could go on. And all these things can keep pastors so busy that they don't have any time to function in the biblical role of a pastor, which is that of a shepherd and a servant. Yes, for me, I did once hold a credential card, and my name was on the Australian government roll of recognised ordained ministers. And there was periods over that time when I proudly carried the titles of pastor and chaplain, and sometimes I even used the title of reverend. I look back at that time now, and I ask myself, was I ever a pastor? See, my function back then was more of a manager, a CEO than a pastor. There was an expectation to dress right, to act right, to speak right, to preach right, to attend conferences according to the movement that I serve and its current trends. Actually thinking about it, I now serve more in the ministry role of a pastor than I did when I carried a man-made credential. But I do it naturally without the demands and distractions of other institutions and government expectations and requirements. So after that explanation, let me answer some questions simply. You may ask of me, am I still a pastor? And my answer is, judge that for yourself, using the scripture to determine the role of a pastor. You may ask of me, do I hold the title of a pastor? My answer to that is no. I actually despise man-made titles. I think they are unbiblical. These man-made titles can define a hierarchical system where some people are greater than others. For me, I am no longer anyone's pastor, but instead I am your brother and fellow servant of Christ. After all, the Bible does warn against titles. Matthew chapter 23, verses 8 to 12. It says this, "But do not be called Rabbi, for one is your teacher, and you are all brothers. Do not call anyone on earth your father, for one is your Father, he who is in heaven. Do not be called leaders, for one is your leader, that is Christ. But the greatest among you shall be your servant. Whoever exalts himself shall be humbled, and whoever humbles himself shall be exalted." I love how in Matthew chapter 23 there it says, "You are all brothers." You may ask of me, am I an ordained minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ? My answer to that is yes. But I do not hold a man-made ordination, nor do I desire to have one. My ordination is not found on a plastic card or a government register. My ordination is found in the same place as every believer's ordination is in the Bible. It is found in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9, which says, "But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for God's own possession, so that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who has called you out of darkness into his marvelous light." We are all part of the priesthood. We are all called to call people out of darkness and into his light. That is where the ordination of every believer, every follower of Christ is. The thing is, what I do now, I do not do it because I desire to be a pastor. I do it naturally because I love God and I love people. Jesus said in John chapter 10, verse 14, "I am the good shepherd, and I know my own, and my own know me." Jesus called himself the good shepherd. Yet, Jesus never went to Bible college. Jesus never led an institution. Jesus never held any official recognition or role in the temple or synagogue. Yet, he is the good, the perfect shepherd. Now, what's really interesting about what Jesus said when he called himself the good shepherd is the Greek word that he used for shepherd. It's the word poimen, P-O-I-M-E-N, poimen. And this is the same word that is used elsewhere in the Bible in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11, which says, "And he gave some as apostles, and some as prophets, and some as evangelists, and some as pastors," or poimen, and teachers. See, the role of a pastor truly is one of a shepherd. It is not the role of a CEO, a chairperson, or a manager of an institution. In matter of fact, those things often become a hindrance to fulfilling the pastoral ministry. Is it any wonder, therefore, that Jesus is building his church, his ecclesia, with no demands on buildings, with no institution, with no hierarchy? It is in the framework and paradigm of the ecclesia that a pastor can operate and function freely, without the political, traditional, cultural, or religious demands and hindrances, and without any hierarchical expectation. If you want to know more about the ecclesia that I speak of, more about the church that Jesus is building, then check out some of my other videos, or go to the website simplechurch.com.au. If you've been watching this video and you don't know about Jesus, you've never repented and decided to follow Jesus, I want to encourage you to go to another website. It is findjesus.com.au. I will see you next time, and until then, keep loving God, loving people like you would yourself, and make disciples. God bless.